flying in baseball. Yes! Okay, so we got actual news about Zack Evans that we got to get to, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I'm not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, we're going to talk about Daijun Edwards, Zack Evans, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Georgia. Ole Miss. I guess A&M gets dropped in here too. But the news is, as I deliver in my Jimmy Dugan Rockford Peaches jersey, such a fit flex. I'm so excited about this. Is Daijun Edwards committed to play at Georgia, giving Georgia a fifth ridiculous tailback that joins Kendall Milton, who is an early enrollee, to go along with James Cook, to go along with Zamir White. My goodness, dude, to go along with Kenny McIntosh. Georgia just keeps loading up at running back, and I understand that murder ball is no longer in vogue, and Georgia's going to have to go to, well, a modern offense that what Todd Monken's probably going to bring in there to do. But you got to find a way to use all these tailbacks because they're just ridiculous. Also means that the Zack Evans sweepstakes is probably well and truly moved away from Georgia. Okay? So, for those of you that need to catch up in more of a streamlined timeline here, do my best for you. Zack Evans was a silent commit to Georgia for a very long time after playing with everybody's fan base. LSU, Texas A&M, Oklahoma. You name it, he probably flirted with the fan base. And why not? He's 5-star tailback at the time. And really the consensus best tailback in the class if you're just taking a look at the huddle film. But it does come with its own problems, right? And by it, I mean Zack Evans' recruitment, not Zack Evans. But Zack Evans, I guess you could say, comes with his own problems as well. And that really got highlighted and blown up in the Texas State Championship game where North Shore was taking on Duncanville. Now, they repeated as state champs, but they did it without Zack Evans. And no, he wasn't hurt like Jaquindon Jackson was hurt, who blew out his ACL in the semifinal and really kind of crippled their chances of winning the state championship against North Shore. No, he was sent home. Why was he sent home? Because coach wanted to collect everybody's cell phones, mobile phones, whatever you call your smartphone now, your iPhone, your Android, your whatever, your Razor, if you're still in that group. And Zack Evans didn't want to turn over his phone because Zack Evans likes being able to read the tweets. He likes being able to say the stuff. He likes being able to talk with his friends. So he got sent home. Right? Which means that they won the state championship without the best tailback in America, according to some. Right? But that also figures because also in here, I'll get to Tennessee going down to North Shore. But Zack Evans is going to go to Georgia. Early signing period. Shocked us all, kind of, sort of. Me, because I thought he was going to be at A&M, and now I kind of still think he's going to be at A&M, but we'll get to that. And then, mysteriously, Georgia releases him of his national letter of intent. Now, if you believe Georgia folks, it's like, hey, that dude's too much of a headache and he's got too much going on. We cut ties with him. And if you're taking a look at Zack Evans, he just wanted to leave. He wasn't really into it. He didn't like the situation. I think both things can be true. But what I know is this. Kirby Smart is not shy of controversy. He will keep a dude on his roster, on his team, that has run-ins with the law, let alone is got a discipline issue because Kirby Smart wants to win football games. Just take a look at his track record going back, not just to Alabama, but just over the last 3 years at Georgia. They've had some knuckleheads, and they've stayed at Georgia, and they've won a bunch of football games, right? So Zack Evans is a really unique situation now. Why? Because he is the rare dude that has graduated early in December who does not have a university that he's attending, which means he's essentially on his own right now. Which means he's not in school, right? Because he's a high school graduate. What would he be doing going to school? Maybe go and take community college classes. We'll see. But he's also still a very highly regarded athlete and really the most highly regarded uncommitted prospect in the 2020 class. And for a few weeks here, we were thinking maybe he could end up back at Georgia because he's in the very unique situation of not being able to sign a national letter of intent because he signed one already, but he could sign a financial aid agreement. And we've seen this done before. Demetrius Robertson did this with like 3 schools, like Notre Dame, Georgia, Cal. He ends up going to Cal because you could sign a financial aid agreement with all of those schools at the same time, assuring that you have a roster spot and then make your decision in May when the semester turns over and you want to get enrolled for June. He ends up going to Cal, right? with Zach Evans, he could sign a financial aid agreement with Georgia, with Tennessee, with Ole Miss, with Ampersand U, with Oklahoma. But that ain't how I think it's going to go down. Now, this is the part that gets interesting because with him being a quote-unquote free agent, he took an official visit to Ole Miss and he took another official visit to Tennessee, and he could take another one this Saturday. But it also shows you two things. One, he is still a hot commodity among SEC schools. Lane Kiffin doesn't care about the baggage. He cares about the ball player. And Jeremy Pruitt, who is famous disciplinarian dude, took the trip down to North Shore after hosting Zach Evans in Knoxville to one, recruit North Shore, because as I mentioned, they just won a Texas State championship. They have dudes. But also to try to meet up with Zach Evans off campus. It didn't happen that way. One thing led to another, and you miss a meeting. Now, you could take what you want from that. Could be that, hey, I thought you said 3 and I heard 4 or whatever. Or maybe it's just that Zach Evans just pulled out of the meeting. Maybe Jeremy Pruitt had to make his way somewhere else down the road. Okay? Because recruiting is, I mean, you only have so much time here. You got to get out and you got to do it. But if he ended up in Tennessee, that's how he could end up in Norman, Oklahoma, because, I mean, Tennessee, and I say end up in Norman, Oklahoma, could end up playing Oklahoma in September because, yes, Tennessee and Oklahoma will play each other in September. It is the marquee matchup on the schedule for the Sooners at the very least as non-con, right? And that'd be a lot of fun, but it also would be fascinating because Eric Gray still is there and Ty Chandler is still there. I almost said Tyson Chandler. Like, what? Anyway, we also know the pedigree of Tennessee running backs. We know the pedigree of Oklahoma running backs. We know the pedigree of Georgia running backs. Ole Miss, they could get there. It's fine. I mean, it wasn't like Scotty wasn't that good. Scotty was real good. Scotty Phillips is who I'm talking about here. And you know what? Jerry and Ely, also real good. And I like to see that backfield together with, yes, Zack on one side, Jerry and Ely. I think it could be a lot of fun. I don't think he's going to end up at Oklahoma, although with DeMarco Murray on staff, you wonder if he might swing for the fences and try to go hit a home run and go get this kiddo. That's also inviting into your house what you know is an undisciplined kid, right? You know it's a problem. But this is also the university that not only recruited and kept Joe Mixon, kept him after he punched a woman in the face on camera, took an Alfred plea, turned into a baller, right? So everybody would take Zach Evans. I want to make that clear. Everybody you know would take Zach Evans today, all right? Now, if he didn't go to your school, you're probably going to condemn him and say he's a knucklehead, right? But if he ends up at your school and he rushes for 2,000 yards, you're going to forgive and forget. Because what is this in the grand scheme of things, right? It's unprecedented and it's wild. And it's been one of the wildest recruiting journeys that I've ever followed. And that's what's fascinating me about it, right? I also would love to see Zach Evans grow up, go to a place, set the world on fire, be a first-round draft pick, because I think he dropped out of the top 247 5-star rankings, top 32 players in the 2020 class, precisely because of the character thing, not because he isn't one of the best players in the country. This is going to be fascinating to see how it turns out. All right, that's it for me. Doses.